Sup everyone, this is Draco Evolve. Manchester United 3, Watford 0. This is my match review or match reaction, whatever you want to say. It's been a fantastic day for us on a Sunday evening. So I'm just gonna point it straight out before I get started with talking about Bruno Fernandes. I've got a few things to say in regards to Martial and the general team's performance, but credit to Watford. I felt in the game that, especially in the first half, Watford did not sit deep. I think everybody was thinking they're going to sit deep, they're going to defend deep, and they're going to frustrate us. But that has never been the case. Watford came out at us and had some of the better chances in the first half. There were moments where I was watching the match and I'm thinking, we've seen this before, we're going to concede any time and it's going to be a long afternoon. They've had a couple of chances, they've countered us well, they pressured us well, especially in the midfield area. I think they were on Fred's case every moment they can get. But all in all, we kept on with 3 fantastic goals. Obviously the cheeky Bruno Fernandes penalty, which we'll talk about him right now actually. How important is it to have someone like Bruno Fernandes in your team? You know, the leadership that he is showing, the drive that he's showing, it enables people around him to perform better, because they look at him and see that fact that yes, he has great technical abilities, but also work rate, leading from the front line. It kind of pushes everybody around the team to be giving 110%. Bruno Fernandes does something that not many players at Manchester United did this season or have done in a while, where he has the technical abilities, we know that, but he always uses it. That's the most important thing. He's never afraid to take that risky pass, and 9 times out of 10 he finds that player. And because he makes those passes all the time, players around him are willing to take that risk and make that run. You look at James, he had a few moments today where he ran through. Anthony Martial, obviously, Mason Greenwood. That is the type of player that Bruno Fernandes brings. But that is the type of player Bruno Fernandes is, where his performance, his dictatorship, always wanting the ball, always looking to play the forward pass, always looking to play the adventurous pass, enables everybody around him to perform to their optimal, and we have seen that. What a fantastic performance from Bruno Fernandes. Clearly my man of the match, and I'm sure a lot of your guys man of the match. That penalty he's taken, I haven't seen that type of penalty being taken at Old Trafford for a very long time, and no, I'm not a fan of Pogba's little run up and penalties, but it was a cheeky penalty. So for me, let's just put that to bed. That's around my review around Bruno Fernandes. He was everywhere. He was taking risky passes. There was a couple of crosses he made, especially the one to Harry Maguire, who Harry Maguire did not connect properly. It's hard for the opposition player to mark down someone like Bruno Fernandes. It is really hard because of the way he plays. Now, he played in the number 10 position where he should have played from day one. You know, despite Lingard and Pereira not even being in the team, and we know why, but he's been given sort of like a free role to drift from the left to right to center, and he has done that this whole afternoon. Best goal of the game is clearly Anthony Martial. Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit about Anthony Martial, why I feel he's not a number 9. There was several instances in this game, and obviously instances before games as well. But let's talk about today's game. There were several instances, especially the one where I think James combined well with Mason Greenwood, and Mason Greenwood turned around and squared it into the 6-yard box. Obviously Mason Greenwood made a run from the right to the left, and Martial, he never anticipated that. He was still near enough in the edge of the box. A typical number 9 would have anticipated that and been in that particular position and waiting for a tap in. I think Martial's biggest strength is from the wings, turning, running, because of his close control dribbling style, sort of play style. It seems like he's not interested at times, then suddenly he just bursts into life. That second goal was magnificent. Where did that come from? You guys got you have to, I think I tweeted it as well. You guys have to just see how he scored that second goal. Okay, let's look at the team before we go into details. So this was the team. As expected, I think I predicted a 2-0 scoreline in my match preview. I did predict Bailly to play, and I did predict Igalo to play, but unfortunately none of them did play. Lindelof looked a bit shaky again. There was a couple of headers he has missed, but generally it was okay in front of, next to Maguire. I think let's give a bit of a special shout out to two players that would probably never be mentioned, is Luke Shaw and Nemanja Matic. They've been getting a fair load of shit going their way throughout the season, but for me personally, Luke Shaw had a fantastic game. He was in several positions where if he didn't anticipate it, Watford would have scored. Obviously they've scored, but VAR ruled out for a handball. Matic looked very composed next to Fred. It seems like Matic is starting to play a lot more of the forward passes rather than side and back we've seen for him a lot of the time. There seems to be a bit of a spring in his step as well, especially when he's receiving the ball. He's always making that movement, ready to kind of unleash that pass, which is what we want to see from Nemanja Matic. He did play a couple of through balls onto Martial. Unfortunately they did not work out, but both of these two players for me had a very good game. Kudos to them as well. Obviously Bruno Fernandes being man of the match, that's standard. Daniel James, a little bit around him. I think he tries hard, obviously. You can see he's a bit more energetic today, but everybody kind of knows what to expect from him. It's just a one-trick pony, and I think over the years, he's still young, he's from the Championship. I think over the years, he'll start to develop a few more traits where, you know, he can have a couple of things under his locker rather than everybody knows, okay, he's going to run behind you or run directly at you, and we know how to deal with him. But that's my sort of like a gist overall team review. There wasn't many things that Watford did to us that troubled me. They did press us a lot, which did trouble me. But in terms of clear-cut chances, aside from the goal that is ruled out by VAR, I thought Watford was very, very poor. And they had a very tough day today. I think after the first goal that we scored just before half-time, I think that changed a lot of the thinking, a lot of the half-time team talk from both teams. And us going 2-0 up and ensured us that we were just kind of like taking control, wrecking them in terms of how we're pushing them, countering them with pace. Mason Greenwood, my God, that kid can shoot. He's ball-footed. What a talent that we have right here. Yes, he's got taken off at the 80th minute. A little bit of cramp, but nothing to be worried about. But that goal were, again, assisted by Bruno Fernandes. But to be honest with you, Bruno Fernandes just played the weighted, nice little square pass based on Mason Greenwood's run from the midfield anyway, where he tricked that midfielder and just ran directly in past to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes just laid on to Mason Greenwood, and that finish on the top left corner. He's a talent, and he's a talent that we should be watching out for. I hope he gets more game time. I think he will be a wonder kid for us in the coming years, and it's wonderful to see another English talent coming through along with Marcus Rashford and a youngster in Anthony Martial. Those three forwards is very, very young. Daniel James, I don't believe he's a first team starter, but only because we have no cover. I think he starts, fair play. Igalo did get a bit of a start in the last 10 minutes. He almost scored again, typical number 9, where he sensed the danger and picked up the mistake from the centre back, and he almost got hit the bar. But that's the number 9 thing I was talking about with in regards to Anthony Martial. He should be, as a number 9, be able to sense these things in specific positions, and that is a pure number 9. Let's see, Anthony Martial might learn from this, and over the years, he's still young, he can grow into the role, much like how Firmino does, what Firmino does for Liverpool. McTominay did get a 10 minutes, which is great to see him back from injury, and I think our squad now is looking extremely strong and promising. This is the first time we have won back-to-back Premier League games since December. Only the third time this season, again since December. Both them other two coming from December, and that was the worry that I think a lot of the United fans had, where We had a very good game, the last game against Chelsea, or a big team, but we never actually followed up on it with another victory. Today, we followed up on it from last week's huge victory. What it means for the table is exactly this. We now find ourselves just 3 points behind a Champions League guaranteed spot with a better goal difference than everybody around us. I'm talking about Chelsea, Spurs and Sheffield United, and up to Wolves as well. This is what the table looks like right now. As you can see on the screen, Chelsea on 44 points, Manchester United on 41 points. The way that Leicester are going at the moment, we're just 9 points behind them. You never know, we might end up being third position. Now, the most important thing, as I said in my last couple of videos, is the fact that the team that will have the most consistent performance from now till the end of the season will be guaranteed to get the fourth position. Given the circumstances of what Spurs are going through with the injury ravaged squad, Chelsea being 50-50 and us lot being 50-50, nobody's kind of taking charge of that fourth position. But I think with Manchester United, the way that we're performing, especially the last couple of games in the Premier League, and the players starting to come back now, there's a bit of a belief going around in the club. I think the boost of Bruno Fernandes coming in has lifted the spirits of the team and the club and the fans. I think that's been a big changing factor, and that's what I call an X factor player as well, where not only he does perform on the field, but he also drives confidence in the whole club. There's a big feel good factor in the club whenever we see the likes of Bruno Fernandes in the starting lineup, because you know, players like Bruno Fernandes, with the experience and leadership that they have, are going to make a difference in a tight game like this. But anyway, this is the table. It'll be wonderful to get the fourth position, and I think it's genuinely within our grasp. We got a bit of a wind in our sails now, but let's see. And as always, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next upload. Manchester United 3, Watford 0. A good Sunday. Let's hope it's a